Hi, in this video I'd like to show you how to do the flower stitch. It's a pretty little stitch where we have elongated knit stitches that are wrapped around the base of them to make this pretty little posy flower stitch. It does look a little bit different on the right side and the wrong side. I've got the right side showing here and a safety pin on the right side. The wrong side shows a little bit of floats here, but still the wrong side looks fine. But they are a little bit different whether they're performed on the right side or the wrong side of the work. And I'm going to be showing you this stitch in all garter stitch, which is all knit. So the flower stitch actually encompasses 3 rows of work, 3 rows of knitting. So on row 1, if we're starting on the right side, we're going to do it a different way than if we're starting on the wrong side. So I'm going to work to the place where I want to make my elongated stitches. So to begin the flower stitch, I'm going to wrap 4 stitches with 2 wraps around the right hand needle. 1, 2. And you can do this flower stitch with any number of stitches, 3, 4, or 5. And you can also wrap the knit stitch, whether you wrap it twice or 3 times, just depends on how tall or elongated you want the flower to look. So I'm just going to show you by wrapping each of these knit stitches twice. So here's the second stitch, wrap around the right hand needle once, twice, pull both of the loops through to the front. So I've done it twice. I'm going to do 4 of these double wrapped stitches, 3 and 4. I'm going to show you that again, so I'll move over a couple of stitches and we're going to do 4 more double wrapped stitches. Now we have a definite right side and wrong side to the fabric, so for the purposes of this video, when I'm telling you to bring the yarn to the front or to the back, that's just in regards to how the stitches are on the needle. That doesn't have anything to do with right side or wrong side of the fabric at this point. So I'm starting my elongated stitches again on this row with the pin, double wrap 1, double wrap 2, 3, and 4. On row 2, when I'm coming back, I'm going to slip and wrap each of these double wrap stitches into a bundle. So I'm going to knit this first stitch, and then I come to a double wrapped stitch. Now we don't want the floats to show on the right side of the fabric, so I'm going to bring the yarn towards me to the back, and I'm going to slip each one of these next 4 stitches purlwise, inserting my right hand needle purlwise, slip each of those stitches over to the right hand needle, and I'm dropping the extra wrap off of the knitting needle. So I've got 4 elongated knit stitches. Now I'm going to bundle these stitches by wrapping the yarn around all 4 of them. So I'm going to take my working yarn to the back between the needles. I'm going to slip all 4 of these stitches to the left hand needle. Then I'm wrapping the bundle. Bring the yarn forward between the needles, put the stitches on the right hand needle, again take the yarn to the back, slip the 4 stitches to the left hand needle, yarn to the front, slip the stitches to the right hand needle, yarn to the back, and continue knitting. So I'll show you that again. Again, we're coming to the double wrapped stitches, and they're pretty obvious. They've got 2 loops coming out of each stitch here. So I'm going to bring my yarn towards me because I don't want the float to show on the right side of the work where the pin is. Yarn forward towards me, slip each one of those double wrapped stitches to the right hand needle. I've got 4 of them. Now I'm going to bundle them, take the yarn to the back between the needles, slip the same 4 stitches to the left hand needle, bring the yarn to the front, slip those 4 stitches to the right hand needle, yarn to the back, slip the stitches to the left-hand needle, yarn to the front, slip the stitches to the right-hand needle, and finally yarn to the back in order to knit these last 2 stitches. So we've done 2 rows of the flower stitch, starting with the double wrap stitch on the right side. Now in the 3rd row, when we get to those bundled stitches, you're going to just knit them in the regular manner. The elongated stitches are tucked inside of that bundle. So now we're just going to resolve them on this row. And we've got little floats on the wrong side of the fabric, but they're quite discreet, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get to the end of the row. So I started the double wrap stitch on the right side, I did the wrong side, and I finished on the right side too. So now you can see where I've got those bundled elongated knit stitches right there. Okay, next I'm going to show you what it looks like if we start the double wraps on the wrong side of the work. So I'm looking at the first row of the 3-row pattern. I'm starting on the wrong side, so the pin is not showing. Okay, so I'm just going to work a couple stitches, and then I'm going to double wrap those 4 knit stitches on this side of the work. The only thing that's slightly different is where the yarn is when you start the bundle on the 2nd row. Okay, so I've got 4 wrap stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're on the wrong side of the work. Do a couple more knit stitches and then make 1 more flower. So double wrap. Doesn't matter whether you hold the yarn in the right or left hand. And I'm working with this pattern in all knit stitch. No purling for me on this particular sample. So turn the work. I'm ready for row 2 of my flower stitch. So I'm just going to work until I get to those double wrapped stitches. And here's the first one right here. So I want the float to stay on the wrong side. So this time I'm not going to move my working yarn before I slip these 4 elongated stitches. Slip your 4 stitches purlwise, bringing your right hand needle in purlwise. Slip them all over to the right hand needle. So I've got 4 elongated stitches on my right hand needle. Now I'm going to bundle them. Bring the yarn to the front between the needles. Slip the same 4 stitches back to the left hand needle. Take the yarn away between the needles. Slip the same 4 stitches to the right hand needle. Bring the yarn to the front of the work. Slip the same 4 stitches to the left needle. Yarn between the needles to the back of the work. Slip the same 4 stitches back to the right hand needle, and now we're ready to knit. Move to the next section of double wrap stitches. My working yarn is staying to the back, and I'm going to slip those 4 stitches purlwise to the right hand needle. Take my yarn to the front, slip the same 4 stitches back to the left hand needle, yarn to the back of the work. So I'm bundling those 4 stitches, slip them to the right hand needle, yarn to the front of the work, same 4 stitches back to the left, yarn to the back of the work, slip them to the right, and now we're ready to finish the row. So that was 2 rows of the flower stitch. Now we're going to resolve those flower stitches by just simply knitting across the entire row. When I get to those elongated stitches, I'm just going to knit them like a regular knit stitch. Sometimes they get a little bundled, so you have to separate them a little bit. So you can see where when we do it like this and we wrap the yarn, whether the yarn starts at the front or the back of the work, we are getting those tiny little floats. We're leaving those tiny little floats always to the wrong side of the work. And I got a little knot here. So just finish out that third row by knitting all the stitches. We ended on a wrong side row, so you can see those slight little floats that go from this stitch to this stitch around the bundle, but they're not unsightly even on the wrong side, and on the right side they look even better. So you can see where we've got those flower stitches all bundled. You can put them wherever you want on the fabric to make a nice decorative element. Okay, it's fun. Try it.